Thank you to Bobby Dunlap for clipping this. This is a riot. I know Roger was in the chat like, what did Tucker say? I'm going to tell you what Tucker said. All right, Bobby Dunlap. Thank you so much. Bobby says, after watching this video, you do realize Tucker could be fired for saying this. Given how he really feels, I'd say he's gone from Fox within a year. Seriously, if his heart is saying this, how can he stay in legacy media? Let's check it out.
Like, I've spent my whole life in the media. My dad was in the media. Like, that is a big part of the revelation that's changed my life, is the media are part of the control apparatus. Like, there's no, yeah, I know, because you're younger and smarter, and you're like, yeah. But what if you're me and you spent your whole life in that world, and to look around and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Not only are they part of the problem, but I spent most of my life being part of the problem, defending the Iraq War. Like, I actually did that. Can you imagine if you did that?
Well, what do you think? What is one of your biggest regrets in your career?
Oh, defending the Iraq War.
That is it?
Well, I've had a million regrets, not being more skeptical, calling people names when I should have listened to what they were saying. Look, when someone makes a claim, there's only one question that's important at the very beginning, which is the claim true or not? So I say, you committed murder, or you rigged the last election. Before you attack me as a crazy person for saying that, maybe you should explain whether you did it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for too long, I participated in the culture where I was like, anyone who thinks outside these pre-prescribed lanes is crazy, is a conspiracy theorist. And I just really regret that. I'm ashamed that I did that. And partly it was age, partly it was the world that I grew up in. So when you look at me and you're like, yeah, of course they're part of the means of control. That's obvious to you because you're 28, but I just didn't see it at all. And I'm ashamed of that.
Isn't that what the media tries to do, though?
It's their only purpose.
Right.
They're not here to inform you, really. Even on the big things that really matter, like the economy and war and COVID, and like things that really matter that will affect you. No, their job is not to inform you. They are working for the small group of people who actually run the world. They're their servants. They're their Praetorian Guard. And we should treat them with maximum contempt because they have earned it.
Hi, how are you? Welcome. What was your what did you think? What did you think of? We gotta do that again. We gotta wait. Hold on. Wait. Because let's break this down. We gotta break this down, baby.
Like, I've spent my whole life in the media. My dad was in the media. Like, that is a big part of the revelation that's changed my life, is the media are part of the control apparatus. Like, there's no, yeah, I know, because you're younger and smarter, and you're like, yeah. But what if you're me and you spent your whole life in that world, and to look around and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Not only are they part of the problem, but I spent most of my life being part of the problem, defending.
Okay, so this is a point that not only people like Noam Chomsky has pointed out in his book Manufacturing Consent, but including people like Michael Parenti has pointed out in his book. And here, Dirty Truths, he talks about the media too. And really, one of the things that both Noam Chomsky and Michael Parenti actually agree on is the fact that these media companies will hire personalities or anchors or journalists who agree with the empire. It's not that they tell them, oh, only talk about this or only talk about that. They may do that some of the time at a minuscule level. But most of the time, it's, I already know you believe what we tell you, so therefore, you're already going to toe the line. And so they did this with Tucker Carlson. They're doing this with Rachel Maddow. They do this with Chuck Todd. They do this with Steve King. Wait, Steve. Was it Steve King? I forget. They all sound the same to me. But you got all these different people, Richard, David Muir, Matt Lauer, even though he's disgraced and gone. You have all these different people. Yes, Rutherford Mapplethorpe says useful idiots. Yes. And the thing is that what happens is that they toe this line because they honestly believe it. And they will pay them millions of dollars to toe the line. They will pay George Stephanopoulos millions of dollars to toe the line. And the thing is that if they want to keep that same amount of money, if they want to keep that lifestyle, then they got to toe that line. Morals be damned. Ethics be damned. Right? And so this is basically what Tucker is actually talking about, which I'm just like, hold up, wait a minute. Are you still with Fox? See, that's my question. Because remember, back in the day, Tucker was actually on CNN. By the way, CNN is actually trying to go further right, by the way, anyway. But because they're trying to be Fox number 2. Anyways, let's continue.
Ending the Iraq War. Like, I actually did that. Can you imagine if you did that?
Well, what is one of your biggest regrets in your career?
Oh, defending the Iraq War.
That is it?
Well, I've had a million regrets. Not being more skeptical, calling people names when I should have listened to what they were saying. Look, when someone makes a claim, there's only one question that's important at the very beginning, which is the claim true or not?
And the thing is that a lot of times what ends up happening is you have to toe the line because who's behind it? Well, it's not only the money, but it's also the national security state. And, you have the big banks, for instance, that are behind it. Look who owns, and I think Savvy covered this on her show, was that who is part owner of some of these media companies? Wouldn't it be ones like Vanguard and BlackRock? Right? And so they have to. If not, they're on the outs. And they constantly do this. This is why they also get picked, from these legacy media companies to be press secretaries for the White House. Look at Janine Jean-Pierre, right? Look at Jen Psaki, right? Now Jen Psaki's now back on she's on MSNBC now, so that's just how it is now, and the thing is that the empire, in U.S. state media, they actually do this rotation.
So I say, you committed murder, or before you attack me as a crazy person for saying that, maybe you should explain whether you did it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for too long, I participated in the culture where I was like, anyone who thinks outside these prescribed lanes is crazy, is a conspiracy theorist. And I just really regret that. I'm ashamed that I did that. And partly it was age, partly it was the world that I grew up in. So when you look at me and you're like, yeah, of course they're part of the means of control, I'm like, that's obvious to you because you're 28, but I just didn't see it at all.
But the thing is, my question is, does he see it that he's still that person now? That's my question. Because, look, here's the thing. Yes, sometimes he'll say some things that are true. And a broken clock is right twice a day, right? But then, talking about things like great replacement and all this other BS, really, he's doing the service of the empire, right? Talking about how, trans people are dangerous, that's doing the work of empire, right? Supporting the cops is doing the work of the empire. You're still doing the work of the empire, though. And I'm like, do you see that? Do you see talking about drag shows is really supporting the empire because it supports the divide. It supports the divide of people, right? Talking about how, CRT and things like that. Look, and flaming, stoking the flames of, some of these people, you're still doing the work of the empire. Because as we all know, and just ask black people, just ask us, guess what? Racism is a division tool. Sexism is a division tool. Homophobia and transphobia, division tools. Even discriminating against people who are disabled, hello, hi, yes, I'm disabled, by the way, is a division tool. People who are neurodivergent, that's all a division. When in reality, there are more that unites us than that divides us. And the thing is that walking away from some of these different ideas really is actually good for us, because it causes us to see each other. You see yourself in me, and I see myself in you. And this is why it is good for us to walk away from some of these things. But if somebody's continuously stoking this, then guess what? You're going to be like, I don't want to be near those people because they're taking my jobs. When in reality, they're not the ones that are taking your jobs. It's the people who employ people like Carlson that are taking your jobs. And it's like, I'm glad that he's starting to, like, bro. I'm like, bro, here's some more light for you. Because the thing is that you're still helping the empire. That's the problem. And the thing is that some of these laws are designed to keep us divided. So then you have tiers in society. And those tiers and hierarchies in society keep the people who employ you and your family at the top. Because remember, Tucker Carlson is also a Swanson. His second last name is Swanson, of the Swanson food brand empire. Yeah, that empire. So the thing is that he's not only a tool of the empire, he's also part of the elites as well. So my thing is, I would like for you to have a come to Jesus moment, but you also need to see that, look, you're helping even on the social aspect as well to divide the people. Let's continue.
At all. And I'm ashamed of that.
Isn't that what the media tries to do, though?
It's their only purpose.
Right.
They're not here to inform you. Really? Even on the big things that really matter, like the economy and war and COVID, and like things that really matter that will affect you. No, their job is not to inform you. They are working for the small group of people who actually run the world. They're their servants.
But you work for the same people, though. See what I mean? It's like you realize the problem and you see the problem, but you don't see that you're literally part of the problem. And the thing is, you're saying that you're kind of walking away from it, but you're still with them. Like, I haven't seen a resignation letter from you. I haven't seen you walk back some of the things that you said on your show. I think that's really important. See? Because here's the thing. There's two ways that this can go. This can go either, oh, he's having a come to Jesus moment and he's actually really serious about this, or he's saying this because he wants you to think that he's having a come to Jesus moment, when in reality, he's just psyching you out just so that he can continue to pull people towards, his part of the corporate media apparatus and make more money for them. Because who's advertising on your show? Wouldn't it be Big Pharma? Wouldn't it be the military industrial complex? Wouldn't it be these big corporations that advertise on your show, on your network? The same ones that advertise on MSNBC, Fox News, ABC, CBS. They all advertise. Look, you guys all get your money from the same pool of people. There's really no difference. Stenographers for the empire. So that's my question. Is like, is that really what you're trying to do, or are you grifting us once again? But not me, but other people.
Servants to the Praetorian Guard, and we should treat them with maximum contempt because they have earned it.
That part I do agree with. massive in contempt. I think that's kind of an understatement of how we should treat them. The thing is that these corporate media, and not just MSNBC and CNN and ABC and CBS, no, it should be Fox as well. But the thing is that are you coming out against your own network? Are you throwing them under the bus? Are you going to throw them under the bus while you're live on the air and tell them that their shit stinks? Now, while I do appreciate some of these words, they're just words until they turn into actions. And I appreciate him having people like Jimmy Dore on. Though I may have my disagreements with Jimmy, a lot of times the rants that he has on Tucker Carlson is him just speaking the truth about the empire. But even still, the thing is the goal of the right is to grow, and who they have to pull from in order to grow. My thing is, or is he actually having a light bulb moment where it's like, oh snap, I messed up? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But I hope that he does actually, grow from this. There have been some people who have actually seen the light. Peter Dow comes to mind. Now, he's not where I am, and we may still have some disagreements, but, he's kind of moved a little bit, which I'm happy about. Or people like Ryan Knight. Ryan Knight is based, and he has definitely moved. And I'm like, well, shoot, all right, bro. From liberal to socialist. And I'm like, okay, cool. But the thing is seeing the truth. And you don't necessarily have to move to where I'm at. But the thing is that you have to realize that some of this ideology is, and especially the pro-corporate ideology, is really detrimental to the human race. And the human race includes all of us, not just a couple of us, all of us. Some of us that get vilified on your show. But we're part of the human race. And the thing is that a lot of these people, immigrants, black people, queer people, not a threat at all. Just not. You know who is a threat? The people in the IMF, people at the Federal Reserve, people at the World Bank, people at Wells Fargo, people at name a bank. Just name one, especially a big one. People in the Republican Party, people in the Democratic Party, the middle managers like Biden, Trump, Obama, Clinton, Bush. These are the dangerous people. They are. And that's the thing that people have to get across. They're the ones that are dangerous. An immigrant that's just trying to feed their families and get away from a country that was decimated because of our foreign policy is not my enemy. The person who immigrated here that's just trying to do better for themselves, they are more my ally. Because guess what? They're victims just like me from the empire. If you're white and you're living in a very poor area, you are more my ally than anybody else. You have more in common with me than you do with a Peter Thiel, a Jeff Bezos, or an Elon Musk. You have more in common with me. A gay, disabled black man. You have more in common with me. So why in the hell are you supporting them? And guess what? And by the way, if you have that back the blue, guess what? You're backing the people that are going to be the ones that put their foot on your neck eventually. Because they are the goons. They are the muscle of the empire. Workers, you need to come together. That's the whole point, right? That's the point of, what I try to talk about, is that if we come together, if we truly come together as workers, and then we actually have a government, a system, an order that actually we dictate as the majority, instead of these people who are way at the top. There is no meritocracy. It does not exist. It ain't here, right? Just by them giving their kids an inheritance it shows that there's no meritocracy. Because their kids ain't got to do jack diddly squat, and their kids are obscenely wealthy. There's no merit to it. Meritocracy does not exist in this country. It don't live here. So in order to have a system that is more egalitarian, equitable, and equal for all of us, it means that we have to stand up. We no longer want them standing on our backs. If you want to get somebody from standing on your back, what do? You stand up. Stand up. And don't let phrases like woke scare you. Woke is not a scary word. Here's the problem. You know who messed up woke? Liberals. Liberals messed up woke. Woke is actually a social justice term. And I know people that are social justice warriors. Real justice means actually having a system where we are no longer disenfranchised because of this, or because what's between our legs, or how we love, or the way our brain works, like, for instance, our neurodivergent people or people who are disabled, or because some other factor that we did not choose to be. So, therefore, that's what actual true justice means. And that equates to economic justice as well. Because you as a person should not be discriminated against because of any of these factors. And you should be able to have housing, healthcare, education, food, water, and a clean environment, irregardless. You should have all those things. And it should not be gatekept, I should say, from people who look like me, or who love like me, or who think in a different process than I do. So, you know who the perversion of woke I blame on? Liberals. And then who picked that up and ran with it? Conservatives. That's who ran with it. And that is why it is being vilified now and is now pejorative. When in reality, it was actually good, and it came from the Black community. And so now you got a bunch of people who are talking about, oh, woke this and woke that. It's like, no, you don't. It's like the young woman who couldn't even define what woke actually meant. And then she misrepresented what the actual term meant. Is what she thinks it meant, when in reality, that's not what it meant in the first place. So, yeah. Did you like the stream? One of the things that I wanted to point out is that Tucker Carlson, Tucker Carlson's show is not technically considered a news show. What do I mean? Well, there's an article here from Fine Law. It says Tucker Carlson successfully argues nobody believes Tucker Carlson is reporting facts. So he could just rely on this, but He doesn't. Said by Joseph Fallbush, Esquire, on September 30th, 2020, last updated August 10, 2021, when Tucker Carlson says his show is "Remember the facts of the story. These are undisputed. No reasonable person would believe that he was about to state facts. At least that's what Tucker Carlson's own argument defending himself from a liable suit. That argument convinced a U.S. District Judge, Mary Kay Viscosil, who dismissed a lawsuit brought by model and actress Karen McDougal. McDougal sued for defamation, alleging Carlson baselessly told his audience that she was extorting President Trump, paid allegedly $150,000 to keep quiet after a long affair with the former Playboy model. By the way, this is what they're trying to arrest President Trump over right now. The fact that he paid Karen McDougal, a.k.a. I think it's Stormy Daniels, $150,000 to keep hush hush. And so they're trying to arrest him on that, which won't take place. By the way, by the time midnight will happen, people will be like, well, it should have happened, but it didn't. No, we just don't know why. It says bloviating the audience. And the judge says, Fox persuasively argues that given Mr. Carlson's reputation, any reasonable viewer arrives with an appropriate amount of skepticism and statements he makes. She doesn't stop there, writing, whether the court frames Mr. Carlson's statements as exaggeration, non-literal commentary, or simply bloviating for his audience, the conclusion remains the same. The statements are not actionable. Now, what does bloviate mean? Bloviate means talk at length, especially in an inflated or empty way. So basically, there's really no true substance to what he says. And so because of that, they're basically saying that Tucker Carlson isn't really news. And so this article is also going to be in the chat, as well as the actual statements from the court. I also put that in there as well. But yeah, so I mean, the thing is that regarding Tucker Carlson is like, dude, I mean, you're literally, you know, said that you're not a news show. So it's kind of like, why are you so apologetic about it now? Oh, you argued that for the judge, but in reality, you actually are a news and opinion show. So you should be sued for some of it. You know, it's just crazy how this stuff goes. But yeah.